Today's lesson is perfume, a timeless elixir of culture and emotion. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And we're going to continue talking about perfume in today's program. Last time we talked a little bit about the history of perfume. It was used in ancient rituals, and it was used to prepare the dead for the afterlife. It also had healing properties. And, of course, the most important thing is that perfume makes you smell nice.
It does indeed. And, of course, that's why people have long used it for different reasons. It makes things smell nice. It gives you a very special mood. It can be a mood enhancer or a mood booster. If you're feeling a little bit blue one day, you might put on some perfume, and suddenly you find yourself in a happier, better frame of mind. So not only was it used in the past to cover up smells, and yes, there were more smells around in the past when people didn't shower and wash with sort of the modern soaps and chemicals that we have today, but also because perfumes are so rare, they're so hard to produce, they can be quite expensive. It did always have a bit of a luxurious idea to it, and it became an item of wonder, magic, healing, and also just empowerment. And it's still many of those things today. So let's look at perfume today as we get into some modern developments of perfume creation in the first part of today's article.
Modern developments in perfume creation. In recent years, the art of creating perfumes has undergone significant changes. This transformation has largely been driven by new technologies, evolving customer preferences, and a growing emphasis on sustainability. Perfume is increasingly seen as a form of personal expression. While older generations often favored a single signature scent, Gen Z treats fragrance like an accessory, choosing different scents to match various moods, styles, and occasions. This trend has led to the rise of smaller, more affordable perfume brands that encourage creativity and experimentation. At the same time, sustainability has become a key focus for the perfume industry. Many consumers now prefer natural ingredients and environmentally friendly packaging, preferences that are prompting brands to rethink their production practices.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 creation， 它的意思是创造、创作，也可以是创作品或是产物的意思。例如 The creation of this work of art occurred over decades. 这项艺术作品的创作历时数十年。或者 The painter's latest creations are being shown at the art gallery. 这名画家的最新创作正在艺廊展示。接着看到动词 undergo， 表示经历、接受或是遭受。例如 Nicholas is undergoing an operation on his leg. Nicholas 正在接受腿部手术。或是 The company underwent dramatic changes after the merger. 该公司在并购案后经历大幅变革。下一个看到名词 emphasis， 它的意思是重视或是强调。例如 You should put greater emphasis on the main points of your speech. 你应该更强调你演说的重点。也可以说 Carrie repeated herself, this time with more emphasis. Carrie 把自己的话再讲一次，这次用更强调的语气。继续介绍形容词 signature， 表示为点点点所特有的招牌的或是标志性的。可以说 Roast duck is this restaurant's signature dish. 烤鸭是这间餐厅的招牌菜。又或者说 The peppered steak is the signature dish of the restaurant. 胡椒牛排是这家餐厅的招牌菜。后面看到名词 accessory， 它的意思是配饰、饰品或是配件。例如 A scarf can be a great accessory to a coat in winter. 围巾可以成为冬天大衣的绝佳配饰。再看一个例子 The beauty salon sells all kinds of hair accessories. 该美容院卖各式各样的发饰。再来我们看到动词 prompt， 指的是促使或是引起。举例来说 The teacher's strict tone prompted the students to study harder. 老师严厉的语气促使学生们更努力念书。又或者说Jason was prompted to download the game because of the ads. Jason 受广告驱使而下载了那款游戏。
Okay, the first part of our article for today is quite long, so be patient as we explain it to you. Modern developments in perfume creation. Okay, so we've got these perfume companies that are trying to come up with new scents or new aromas or new fragrances all the time so that people will try something new and see if it fits their personality or whatever. So we're talking about creating or making perfumes, the process of perfume creation. Now, in recent years, the art of creating perfumes has undergone significant changes. So, yes, indeed, it has changed in modern times. If something undergoes something, it happens to you or it happens to that thing. Usually it could be something maybe unpleasant, like to undergo surgery, for example, or to undergo a stressful situation in your life. But in this particular case, it has just had lots of significant changes that has to do with the creation of perfumes.
Very interesting. This transformation has largely been driven by new technologies, evolving customer preferences, and a growing emphasis on sustainability. Okay, so yes, the perfume industry, like any other industry, has to change with the times, and they will integrate or bring in new technologies when things come along to improve the production process or lower costs or things like that. So there's been a transformation that's been driven by new technologies. A transformation is just a big change. It's still there, but it's in a very different form from the beginning or from the past until now. Often when animals grow, there's a transformation, right? If you look at a 5-year-old boy and then a 35-year-old man, you can see a big difference there. There's height, there's size, there's hair on the face, the voice is lower. This is transformation. And in the same way, technology has created big transformations in how we communicate, how we work, how we shop. Online shopping wasn't a thing 20 years ago. So big changes. Technology, of course, drives that. Computers and better ways of making things, even AI possibly going into the future. And then when you're producing products, you also have to think about what people want, evolving or changing customer preferences. Maybe back in the old days, it was older women who wore most of the perfume, so you wanted it to smell like roses or flowers. But for younger people who might be wearing it, I don't want to smell like my grandmother. I want to smell young and fresh and active and energetic. So you might have different types of scents. And then there's a growing emphasis on sustainability. Let's remember, many perfumes are created from natural things, be they flowers or musk glands from different types of deer. So there's an emphasis on sustainability. Let's make sure that in making our perfumes, we're not hurting the environment and we're able to produce the perfume into the future without doing any damage to the natural world. This is a focus or an emphasis. When you have an emphasis on something, you're basically bringing a lot of attention or paying a lot of attention to that, okay? So if you're having health issues, you might want to put more emphasis on the food that you eat and the exercise that you get. Hamburgers and walking to the McDonald's, that's not enough. You need to eat more salad and bike away from the McDonald's instead of walking towards it.
Absolutely. So here in the next paragraph it says, perfume is increasingly seen as a form of personal expression. Okay, just like when people want to get tattoos, maybe them using different kinds of perfume is similar in that it expresses your personality, who you are, how you feel about things. So yes, that's how it's seen nowadays. While older generations often favored a single signature scent, Gen Z treats fragrance like an accessory, choosing different scents to match various moods, styles, and occasions. So we're talking about the older generation first. They often favored a single signature scent. So you would always try different kinds of perfume until you found one you liked, and then you would stick with that and use it in all different kinds of situations. That's what the older generations used to do. But now we've got modern young people, Gen Z or Generation Z. They treat fragrance like an accessory. An accessory is something that goes with something. like a bracelet or a ring or a scarf or something like that. Those would be fashion accessories. Nowadays, they see fragrance or a perfume as something to go along with your outfit. You choose different scents to match various moods, styles, and occasions. So maybe you have a perfume you wear when you go out to dinner with your boyfriend, and a perfume you wear when you go out with your girlfriends, or when you go to the beach, or when you sleep, or when you travel to other countries. There are different fragrances for different situations.
Absolutely, yeah. You can have a perfume for every type of day or even every outfit that you wear. It says it's an accessory that you can change, just like you change your shoes or your belt or bring a different purse or handbag depending on where you're going and the sort of style of the situation you're going to be in or the event you're going to attend. It says this trend has led to the rise of smaller, more affordable perfume brands that encourage creativity and experimentation. The big ones still dominate, right? There's still a lot of Chanel out there and Armani scents or whatever, but there are many much smaller, more affordable perfume brands. We might also call these boutique brands, producing in smaller amounts but with higher quality. At least that's the idea. And maybe also more affordable. As young people are wearing perfumes more, they might not be able to afford the prices of some of the traditional legacy perfumes. So if something's affordable, that's just a nicer way of saying it's cheaper. It's a little bit lower in price. More people can afford it. More people will have it in their budget to buy this thing. It won't be something that's sort of unattainable or where they can only buy one bottle every year. They could buy a couple of bottles a year because it's a lower price, but still good quality. And this encourages creativity and experimentation. Let's try to smell like things that we don't normally smell like, or have perfumes with themes and styles and scents that we don't often smell. There's a lot of sort of citrusy, lemony smells out there. What about a strawberry smell? Or, hey, maybe people want to smell like pineapple or something like that.
Or cedar wood or something. Pine.
Cedar wood, pine, absolutely. That would be something that maybe is a little more unusual in the world of traditional perfume making. So when we talk about experimentation, we're not using it so much here in the scientific way, like let's see what works. It's more like let's just try something different and see if it works, in the same way that chefs might take traditional French food but include more Asian ingredients in it in a French style, that kind of thing. So we're blending styles, we're trying things that haven't really been tried before. At the same time, sustainability has become a key focus for the perfume industry for many different companies, fashion companies as well, makeup companies. Sustainability, protecting the environment while still making good quality products that people want. That's important. It's something that could be important to them as a corporation, but also it's important to their advertising. They want to advertise themselves as being eco-friendly and green and not damaging the environment by hurting the land or animals in the production of their product.
Yeah, in the past, I suppose nobody really cared if you killed 20,000 deer to get some musk smell out of them. Nowadays, people are concerned about that. You don't need to harm so many animals to make perfume. Try to find more sustainable sources for your perfume. So that's kind of the focus for the industry nowadays. And it's probably the focus of consumers as well. So many consumers, the people who buy and use these products, they now prefer natural ingredients and environmentally friendly packaging, preferences that are promoting brands to rethink their production practices. So yes, consumers, of course, play a big role in this. They prefer those natural ingredients, not things created in the laboratory, things you get from plants or from minerals and things like that. And of course, they want the packaging to be environmentally friendly. So remember, when you buy perfume at the boutique, it will come in a box with some labeling around it, or packaging rather. They'll have some plastic wrap around the thing. And of course, they want that to be environmentally friendly, so the plastic or the paper does not pollute the environment once you take the perfume out of the box. And maybe they're concerned about the bottle itself, what kind of glass it's made from or whatever. So, of course, they want these things to be environmentally friendly, to be good to the environment. And these are different kinds of preferences that are prompting brands to rethink their practices of production. So to prompt just means to encourage, to give somebody inspiration to do something, or basically to encourage them or to persuade them to do something. So yes, these brands like Chanel or Gucci or whatever, they're listening to the consumers and they're making changes accordingly. Okay, we're at the end of our discussion for the first part of our lesson. Let's now talk about the role of technology.
The role of technology. The perfume industry, now valued at around $50 billion, has also been shaped by modern technology, including artificial intelligence, AI. For example, AI tools are being used to analyze customer preferences, enabling the creation of unique and personalized fragrances.
All right, so yes, when we think of perfume making, a lot of us might think of an old man in a workshop with a wall of bottles behind him as he mixes different scents and different essential oils and things like that. Of course, that is a traditional view, and if you're in the south of France or somewhere like that where they grow many of the flowers that go into perfumes, you might still find little boutique perfume manufacturers working in that way, but I think most of us, if we went to a perfume factory, it would kind of look like anywhere else that they're producing distilled spirits. It could be like a modern brewery or a winery or something like that. Large steel tanks of chemicals being pumped around and things like that. It is a big, big business. It says the perfume industry now valued at around $50 billion.
Ooh.
I'm assuming that's each year. That's astonishing for smelly, oily water, but still $50 billion just to show you. I think for a lot of people, buying perfume is one of the few things most people can afford from these big fashion companies, right? Most people can't afford an Armani suit or Gucci shoes, but they can certainly afford a bottle of perfume from one of those famous brands. So that's often an entry-level product, could add up to that much money. And it's also been shaped by modern technology, including artificial intelligence, AI. Yes, there are very few companies that haven't embraced this thing, especially large corporations, as a way of saving money and streamlining their production process and all sorts of other things. So technology, computers, and modern chemistry is as much or even more of perfume than just a few people picking leaves or picking petals off flowers and crushing them for their oils.
Right, and there's the magic term, artificial intelligence or AI. So we've got this example. AI tools are being used to analyze customer preferences, enabling the creation of unique and personalized fragrances. Okay, so yes, we can use AI to our advantage. You give AI some information concerning personal preferences, and then the AI creates a recipe or a formula for some perfume. Well, you can just use this kind of ingredient and heat it for so long and preserve it for this amount of time, and then add something else to it and all combine them at a certain time. AI will work something out, and then you can try the fragrance yourself and go, wow, that's just what I wanted. I smell the way I want to smell.
All right, let's go to the break, and then we'll come back with the final part of the article.
As in ages past, perfume remains more than just something that smells good. With advances in sustainability and personalization, the perfume industry is evolving rapidly to meet the demands of today's modern world.
第三部分看到名词 demand， 它表示要求或是需求量。可以说 Prices tend to increase with demand， 价格往往跟着需求增加。最后一句 The boss's demand for all employees to work on Saturday was unreasonable。 老板要求所有员工在周六上班是不合理的。
Okay, here's the final part of our lesson for today. It says, as in ages past, just like in ancient history, perfume remains more than just something that smells good. Yes, it's more than something that just smells good. There are many different uses of perfume, as we've been talking about.
With advances in sustainability and personalization, the perfume industry is evolving rapidly to meet the demands of today's modern world. Absolutely, yeah. With advances in sustainability, of course, protecting the earth and making sure that we can continue to produce wonderful smelling perfumes into the future, even with global warming and more of an emphasis on growing things efficiently in large numbers rather than just using a lot of land. So things like that, making it more sustainable, making it more respectful and efficient in terms of its use of the environment and land, and personalization, finding ways to make perfumes for individual people rather than just here's a smell. We hope you like it. It's what smell would you like? We will make it for you. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here with personalization, making it very personal or fitting to the unique individual person. The perfume industry is evolving rapidly. It's changing very quickly to meet the demands of today's modern world. The demands of the world, of course, the demands of consumers, what consumers want, the kind of things that they want to spend their money on, and also the issues that are important to them, like sustainability. I'd really like to buy your product, but I hear that you harmed the earth by making it, so I'm not going to. We want to have a nice balance between those things, have a very good product at a good price that people want, and they can feel good about buying because they know that it's not damaging the environment. I mean, I guess I can imagine a day with AI making perfumes. You can go online and you can basically choose the scents you want, and then a week or two later, a bottle will arrive in the mail of exactly the perfume you want, which will be different from everyone else's. That's kind of a cool idea.
Or the computer will be able to actually produce the aroma for you so you can sample it right there in your bedroom or whatever and figure out if it's what you like, although I don't think technology has come that far yet. I guess we still need the little scratch and sniff cards that we sometimes use to figure out how something smells. Okay, that's the end of our discussion for today. Here comes Hanny, who smells really sweet today.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny， 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有一句提到，过去的世代通常偏好单一的招牌香气，而 Z 世代则将香水视为配件。文中它用到 signature， 在这边是形容为什么所特有的、招牌的或者是标志性的。那这个用法它只会摆在名词前面来做修饰，而 signature 也可以当名词表达签名。这边我们来介绍它的字根。sign sign， 它当字根呢有标记、指示、符号或是签署的意思。在 signature 这个字当中，字根 sign 表示记号 ，at 是来自 ate 是动词字尾，那么 ture 这部分则是名词字尾。合在一起呢 signature 就是指签名，它还可以指鲜明的标志、特征、招牌特色等等。我们这边顺便补充几个相同字根的单字。第一个 signify， 它的字根 sign 这部分是指标示 ify 是动词字尾。那当我们把某事物特别标出来，就是为了标示出它的重要性，或是为了说明它的含义。用这个方式应该可以联想到 signify， 它有意味着或是表示的意思。它还可以表达要紧、很重要，只是这个意思常常就会用在否定句或疑问句里。所以像我们说 it doesn't signify， 这时候就跟 it doesn't matter 意思差不多。第二个补充的是 assign， 它的字首 as 来自 ad 表示朝向，字根 sign 表示标记。那同学们可以试着想象，当你拿着一张单子，针对每个人标记着各自要分配的数量或工作，那应该不难联想到 assign 它有指派、分配的意思吧。好，那第三个补充的是 resign， 它的字首 re 表示相反， sign 是标记。那什么叫做相反标记呢？其实这个字是有典故的，它原本在拉丁文里面是指在账簿上面画反记号来核销原本的注记，那后来就引申出辞职的意思了。好，课文第二部分提到，香水产业也受到包括人工智慧 AI 在内的现代科技影响。文中它是用 including artificial intelligence 来表达包括人工智慧。那这边我们来比较一下 included 还有 inclusive 的用法。including 是介系词，它表示包含、包括，那它的用法是在后面接名词，就像课文用法。至于 included， 它是形容词，表示包括在内的、被包括的，它的用法是用名词加上 included。举例来说 ，Everyone, me included, had a great time at the party。所有人，包括我在内，在派对上都玩得很尽兴。那再看 inclusive 则是形容词，它的用法是 inclusive of 加上名词，那就是比较正式的用法。例如 These prices are not inclusive of tax， 这些价格不含税。好，那以上就是今天的重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Creation. The government is focusing on the creation of more job opportunities to reduce unemployment. Undergo.Teenagers undergo both physical and emotional changes as they grow into adults. Transformation. The transformation of the small village into a modern city took several decades. Emphasis. In her speech, the mayor put special emphasis on the importance of environmental protection. Signature. The singer's signature style includes bold outfits along with brightly colored hair that changes frequently. Accessory. Mia carefully chose accessories such as earrings, a handbag, and a scarf to match her dress. Prompt. The encouraging words from his music teacher prompted Jim to pursue his dream of becoming a professional musician. Demand. There is always a high demand for airline tickets during peak holiday seasons.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter. The question is, do you use perfume as part of your daily routine? Why or why not?
Well, I will say I tend to use perfume every day because I enjoy it as a mood enhancer. It's also nice to have perfume if you're stuck next to some hot, smelly people on the MRT or something like that. But my problem is I often forget to put it on, so I have to remind myself to wear it more often.
Well, I don't usually wear perfume, mainly because I don't really think I smell that bad, but some people have reminded me that, well, as a rather tall foreigner here in Taiwan, people in Taiwan might be sensitive to your unique smell, so you might want to take that into consideration, because if they smell me, they might think all foreigners smell that bad, so maybe I should start using perfume on a daily basis. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Mike.
See you next time.